you get to even writing a book?
First of all, I don't want to be working with the brands through agencies because you want to cut out the middleman, right? What I do best is writing. Let me write stories on LinkedIn, but so they're about the brands, but they're about me.
What do you think makes a good copywriter?
I think understanding that you're not writing for yourself, right? Because for a lot of people, when they write, it's like you write things that you feel like you like, but you must remember that
Pat. It's Pat on brands. Watch how you branded, man. A pat on the back is a pat from the man. Better be branded, man. A pat from the pat is a pat on the...
Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Pat on Brands podcast with Pat and
Mpumi. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our
episode
youth-
64.
Well, episode 64, but our youth edition of the Pat on Brands podcast.
Actually, talking about the youth edition, we have someone who's on the verge of not being a youth anymore. Amper youth.
yo,
When does it end? So we know that.
December, at least I'm a summer baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we're eating baker's choice assorted, it'll be like, why are you eating the kids' snacks,
Hey,
Yeah.
Ujari Danon.
Yeah, like why are you eating? These are for the youth.
Yeah. So it ends this year.
It ends this year,
From next year, Jana.
From next year, I'm eating at the Lezenke at the back with the fruit nuts,
with the men.
Yeah.
He's also the president of the Light Skin Brothers Association.
Yes. I'm holding it down. Light lives matter, guys.
Wow, this is gonna be a long one.
Yeah, it is. But welcome once again to our fam online, and it's super exciting. We can't wait to get this discussion on the roll.
Yeah.
Hello, Katlego.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Good, and how are you? We have Katlego Thulare.
Thulari, yeah. It's like Tulani with the R-E, Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with it.
Thulari.
Yeah. You do, I've come from the royal what Maro, you don't have to, by association, not by direct. Our grandparents,
But Khoshi Thulari.
Yes.
So you are a branch of...
Yeah, so I think my grandma was married in those sections. And then, you know how it used to work back in the day. So she got married, husband passed away, got married to a brother. Then I think he passed away. Then she was like, yo, grab the 11, 12 babies, get out of here,
Okay.
So
Is that how you ended up in Siabe?
That's where my mom's mother's from, So that's how I actually was born that side.
You're
My old
probably
lady's from
the
that
most
side.
famous person out of Siabe.
Out of Siabe.
Wait, firstly, where is Siabe?
Siabe, it's near Pake. You know who's from Pake?
Theo Baloyi.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's greatness coming
This
through.
is Limpopo.
Mpumalanga, like on the verge of
So,
Limpopo and
you know where
And Northwest,
Dino King is, huh?
Oh, Dino King.
Dino King. I gotta say, I'm going to Dino King. Yeah, between Dino King and Bella, those sections there, there's a Siabe on the far right.
And Marapiani.
Yeah, I'm Marapiani. Because I was actually born in a clinic in Marapiani.
Oh, you're born there?
Yeah, teenage parents. Well, Ratarilo,
So, Mano,
I was like, so I was born in some random clinic that side. I made it.
There we go.
No NHR, we made it.
Wow. Okay, man. Take us back to, from Siabe to Benoni to now.
Yeah. Oh, so how does that even happen? So, like I mentioned, because I've got my parents were teens, right?
Yeah.
So how they meet is.
Sorry, how many are you guys? Oh, but it's 15. So.
I'll explain. I'll even explain. There's even an age gap here, but there's
It's a lot.
science.
Okay.
Science to this thing.
Okay,
Baba.
explain the science.
So my dad used to go, obviously, going to visit a Rakhadi of his who stayed.
Morandu.
Yeah, like literally next door to where my mom stayed, So obviously he sees this yellow bone. He's a dark guy, he sees this yellow bone.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then they happen to do things and I'll pop up, right? Gift, Katlego,
Yeah.
Nice. At least they didn't give me
Yeah.
those names back in the days. They gave me a smoother name. Right? No, future light skinned president has to have a relatable name,
Gotcha.
So that's so obviously like a typical Muzanti youth or kid, you grow up at grandma's house because my parents are young. My mom's literally going to school and then coming to breastfeed at break, going back to school.
Sure.
So my grandma was obviously raising me at that time, And because my mom was young, she's the firstborn, and her siblings are also young. So I grew up around them, and they like more like brothers and sisters to me.
Than
You know,
your-
I
than
call them
being your
by,
aunt and
yeah,
uncle.
like I call them by first name. It's that now that we're getting older, it's getting tougher to be like, yo,
Yeah,
calling them,
Rakgadi,
yeah, and you can
Yanong,
see like, yeah,
Moses,
you know, like
yeah,
hey, Moses, so that becomes that vibe. But then, so obviously, then we were staying there, Koma Griza, and then my pops finished his matric, and then he put himself through college, Abeta, working at SAB, doing all these small job, pushing trolleys, whatever. The UNISA life, the distance learning, he does that thing. And then because he's young, he's obviously getting the smaller job. So we start moving. So we moved. Now we're moving in with him. We're staying in a back room.
This is you and mom.
Me and mom.
Okay.
Now I gotta know at least he's got
At
a
least
job.
yeah.
At least he held a
slicer.
Yeah.
He didn't hit a slicer.
I mean, not that he should have, but that's the point.
But that was the
Yeah,
vibe back
no,
in the
granted.
days, where there's like your family stays in the rural, you got
granted.
the job in the town or
yeah.
So then we move in with him in Bela Bela. So that's when we
Yeah.
moved. Like I think that was my first taste of Kasi, but Bela Bela was like it's like Kasi, but it's still
Rural
rural.
Kasi.
It's rural
Yeah,
Kasi,
yeah.
The scontiri finishes at some point.
Mara
You know?
fika,
Mara, it doesn't reach the house, but at least it goes down the main road.
Got you.
So then I kind of went to crash that side and whatnot. And then we moved from there because Pops got another job. Then we moved to Deveyton. And that's how we moved to Deveyton. And then
so you start now coming
I'm in
the east now.
Yeah, now I'm coming to the
Yeah.
East Strand. And this is a Kasi,
Yeah, and
you
this
know.
is Deveyton.
Yeah, this is Deveyton,
Yeah.
Kofu, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like a nice little vibrant place and whatever. But like typical black parents, they're like, ish, you don't want your kids to go to school. You want them to go to Model C. And we're those first few people to go into the Model Cs.
Yeah.
So they put you in like a English school. And that's where I actually started paying attention to a lot of like cultural differences, because now you rock up at this Model C school where now you are carrying Rama and tea every day, and Jonathan and them have Mom Remember Melrose and all that kind of stuff.
Marmite.
And Marmite, you kind of start getting into that kind of vibe. And I think that's where like my curiosity comes from in a sense, But like that's how we actually land up in Benoni as well, because that's where like I typically grew up. Like,
Crystal Park.
So
we stayed in Crystal Park before. Everybody from Benoni has an ex-girlfriend from Crystal Park. It's like Crystal Park, that's where they manufacture the beautiful women in the East End. So if you're from Benoni, you definitely have an
get the
ex-girlfriend.
cheese.
Yeah, I got the cheese.
Yeah.
So that's how we actually moved around. And then I went to Benoni Junior, Benoni West, Benoni High. So I'm like a
No, you're Benoni.
Benoni,
And
you
not,
know.
that's how you
Benoni,
can hear it's Benoni. It's
When
not-
I was growing up,
I was
you
like, Benoni.
Go Benoni.
know, when I was growing up back
Yeah.
in the village, there used to be a thing called Benoni next to Boxburg.
Benoni next to
But now
Boxburg.
I'm here, it's not even.
It's
They're quite
yeah,
close.
it's not next to, you know, but it's 5-2. At least now, the nice thing about Benoni, even though a lot of people kind of look at Benoni like, hey, last town before you get to Mpumalanga,
Got you.
But it's like, now when we grew up, we used to see aeroplanes just flying at the
Lee,
back.
Nana.
Well, what do you see? There
Yeah.
were temples right here.
Yeah.
That's 5 minutes.
When a
But-
British Airways.
You know what I'm saying? So it was
When I
not,
left
you know what I'm saying? Qatar, my neighborhood backyard vibe. That's
Yeah.
up,
But now
Yeah.
you're in Joburg, you Benoni.
Yeah.
Sorry, reminder Benoni.
Yeah.
You have gone through this. Now, like you say, you've become a sociologist in a way.
Yeah.
You're really now looking at your surroundings. Then what?
So actually, because you also even asked about siblings. So now, obviously, because you must remember when we were moving around, even when we're staying in Benoni town, when you move Kokasi, people think that you're moving to the cheeses, but we're still living in back rooms like the whole time, you know?
Sure.
And now me and my moms and my dad, we literally sleeping on a single bed together and whatever. So that's why I didn't have siblings for a long time. Because
Makes
now I
sense.
used to sleep in between.
Hey, no, my tiny.
Yeah, they got tiny for like
Yeah.
years and years. So there's actually like a huge age gap.
Okay.
But those kind of things actually build like curiosity and creativity, because now you don't have a color TV, you have a black and white now. Jonathan and them are like, oh, I'm the red Power Ranger.
Yeah.
You're like, but they're all
Who's the
gray. You
Power
know? They're all gray. They're all gray on my TV, So
But
then
okay.
you have to wait until all the colors are taken and then you choose one last color, but then there's no Power Ranger with that color. But it's fine. You figure it out at home, But it kind of builds that creativity and connectedness with the family as well, because now you spend your time, like actually having conversations and all of that. Because now you just switch on the TV. Because you know those black and whites that you clip on a battery, type of thing. So you don't want to finish the battery. So you only switch it on from about Days of Our Lives, the Ball Day, News, SABC 1 News, SABC 2, Generations, and then that's all on TV.
Solid.
You know, that was 8 on the dot.
You are a proper youth and dollar. Like, really, I believe you now.
Yeah, you can see now. Yeah, no, I just got that 2K look, Mara. I'm trying to confuse the enemy.
I see. Yeah. And I mean, look, then marketing.
Yeah.
Where do you get exposed to the field?
Oh, of marketing, yeah?
And advertising.
Yeah.
Like, where is the exposure coming from? Like you say, you're in Benoni High with Jonathan.
Yeah.
Was that even a thing?
Yeah, so during school, I wanted to be this Chris Brown. Obviously, as a typical light-skinned guy, I wanted to be Chris Brown and singing and whatnot. So I used to do all these singing competitions and stuff, and I would always attend, and then to me, it got boring winning them. No, I'm not gonna say Nigel Black, but it got boring winning, right?
Okay.
So it got to a point where it was like, okay, now I actually want to host my own events. And I started in high school trying to pitch to say, hi, Principal Mangmang, can I maybe do a talent show? Especially was those times like Step Up and what were big. Everybody wanted to be in a dance crew. People were ciphering during break, all that kind of stuff.
Hip-hop one in
the Masters of Rhythm, right? So everybody wants that lifestyle. So I was like, the singing competitions that I'm doing, because it is a Jonathan-y kind of school, it's like you're singing, you're not even singing R&B, you're singing like, what they call light music, type of thing. And then, so I got that like bug of like, okay, a little bit of entrepreneurial vibe, trying to host the shows, right? So post school, so obviously they said no because they're like, this kid, who's gonna manage? Teachers must come after hours to manage this concert. Kids are gonna come from other schools. But then I went to the local town hall and tried to book it, and they're like, okay, 2,900 rand, and I'm like, oh, not even my scaftin money is 2,900. So at that time, I think I had a lot more courage than I do now. And I actually walked around to the mall. I went to the bank. Yeah, you go to the bank. Hi, can I speak to the bank manager? I remember I went to a Net Bank in Northmead Mall. So I'm like, hi, can I please speak to the bank manager? And then obviously they're just like, okay, cool. Maybe it's the cousin's child or something. Let's just let the guy go to. Okay, bank manager. I'm trying to do this thing. I need 2,900 for the venue. Then he's like, oh, okay, but what about the sound? What about the this? Did you business plan? Do you have? Yeah. I'm like, nah, I just rocked up. And then obviously they said no. Then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm still gonna do it anyway. So I got a couple friends. We met up at a park. We all put in $100. We don't book the town hall because that's expensive. We book a local tennis court around the neighborhood, and then we have our first talent show. And that talent show started growing and growing and growing. And, at some point now I'm hosting like festivals and stuff, in the East Strand, And now I'm like, okay, cool. This is
which festivals? East
Strand Spring Festival. Yeah, you won't remember it now. But at that time it was hot, This is back in the day, So
were we of age?
Yeah, we're of age. Well, I think by the time I was doing the East Strand Spring Festival, I was turning 21 that December, so it was happening in September.
If you're 21, that means you should have been at varsity.
Yeah. So that's another part of the story. But because now it's like, I've got this course that I'm doing. I was doing a BCom, like every black kid who doesn't know what they're going to do. It's just like, BCom, So I do a BCom at Tux. So I'm obviously bouncing around because I'm staying at home, traveling to Tikkies. I am doing some events here and there in Pretoria as well. So I'm living at home.
You're living at home, studying in Tikkies.
In Tikkies, yeah. So at first I used to go with the taxi, then...
taxi? What time are you leaving the house?
You leave like 4 a.m. You catch to Pretoria town. You get off on Vermeulen and Ogare. By Church, what? It's like Vermeulen. Then you catch a Hatfield cab there. And then Hatfield, you come back to there.
By the time you get home, you're so tired.
Get to Bosman. Even like coming back is 3 cabs because now you're getting to town. Bosman, back to Benoni. Yeah, but the Kempton Park one was always faster. You go Kempton Park, then still another cab to Benoni, So it's kind of like a balancing. But because you're so passionate about what you do, it's like, figuring it out. But then, obviously, the events, like I think when I was doing the East Strand Spring Festival for the final time, we actually got shut down because with these big festivals you need certain things like your jock, disaster management. We didn't have that, so I actually got called the Wednesday before the event. Because they were like, because how we were slick or creative about it is that we were competing with your Spring Fiesta, right? But Spring Fiesta has big budget, so we don't have the budget. We don't have radio. We don't have whatever. But what I thought of is like YFM,
have a media partner.
Yeah, YFM. they always do gig guides for their presenters every week, right? So I was like, what if I booked all the presenters? That means that the whole lineup, it sounds like YFM is coming to Eastern Spirit Festival, you know?
Yeah,
so it was like, yo, DJ, I think Waras was there, Miss Cosmo, what, Mo Flavor, what. They all going to Spring Festival, and we had Kuli Chana as one of the headliners. So now the Wednesday, because now they're starting to hear it on radio or whatever, now this is not just a talent show for kids anymore. This sounds like a serious thing. They call us, okay, Katlego, do you have toilets? How many security per 100 people? How many tickets have you sold on Compi Ticket? We've got 2,300 tickets sold, pre-sold, you know? And I was like, okay, cool. This thing is happening, but like we're gonna need a couple things or whatever, you know? But then on the Friday when they're setting up the stage and all of that and, you know, doing defense and whatever, here comes like 6-7 metro cars and the facilities manager that I just met on Wednesday. And they're like, listen, we thought about it. This is high risk, you know, because you guys are just a bunch of kids. It's not going to happen. You got to shut it down, you know. So we had to post. And social media wasn't so big at the time because we're still doing pamphlets and stuff like that, you know? Yeah. So obviously Facebook, you could still do select all friends, invite them to an event. And then Facebook says 1,000 people are coming, but only 100 people come, you know? So that's why we did like flyers, going to colleges, campuses. And
how are you telling them now?
Now I'm posting online. So now what's crazy, because I remember the day vividly, because now we've posted online and then now there's Convoy. You know, these guys were Dikotani. They used to be quite famous at the time. So here comes like convoy of like different color cabs. Some guys are coming from Wheatbank. Some people are, and they coming, they outside, but here's metros blocking the stadium gate and we taking things down and not setting up. You know, so now you're obviously getting that vibe where even the same hype we got from YFM, it's like, hey, yo, these guys, yo, failed promoter, hey, what, you know, and that was like a reality check for me because now I have to obviously refund all those pre-sale tickets. The people, vendors that are selling on the day, I told them how many tickets that I'd already sold. Preparing. So some of the people had pre-cooked food and that kind of stuff. So now it's lawyers, now it's this, now it's that. The contracts that I had with them, I downloaded off Google. It's not a legal contract. It's like, you know, template for vendor, what. You know, because you're just a kid, you know, figuring it out. But then that was a reality check for me because it taught me I actually enjoyed the marketing of the event than the actual event. Because the event you're worried about, hey, there's no change at the gate. Mang ran out of tamati sauce. Now they're asking you to go to Spa to get tamati sauce. DJ Mang is still in Rustenburg, you know. But the marketing happens for like 5-6 months. And you know, that's where the excitement came to. And that's when I realized, okay, maybe I got something here, you know. Because now I didn't even finish that course. I didn't finish the course. No, because I didn't finish it because now I get to know, you think I'm going to attend versus... I'm making Zaga, you know, and it was like decent money, you know, at the time.
So now does this then kind of end and what happens then?
So what happens then is, of course, now like I got massive egg on my face, the same type of hype. So now it's getting harder to walk outside. Egg. Yeah, very yellow egg. Before yellow was my thing. Hey, I'm glad I changed. I rebranded. You know? So now I'm obviously sitting in the house thinking like, and I'm going through like mad depression, you know, because now it's like, this is the biggest failure. I remember standing in the middle of the stadium and you're looking around and there's metros. They're saying if you set up, we take you to jail. I'm too cute to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I was like, listen, I am not designed for this.
I'll take my odds, y'all.
You know, let's just shut it down. You know?
You're going to be the worst prisoner.
The worst. Because now I can't even be me mugging. Like, hey, see, you know, like, when Ariana Grande got dimples, you know. You know, so then, but it was a massive life lesson because I'm not even 21 yet. I'm literally turning 21 in a couple months, and I have to figure out because I'm sitting, obviously feeling sorry for myself until the one time I get a call from a guy called Richard Ramudzuli, who's owner of Tico Events. You know, so he does events at Carnival City, your Business Premium Jazz Festival, your heavyweights, like they got like massive concerts that they do there. So he was like, man, look. I actually like the marketing as well, you know, so come through, you do marketing for me. And that's when I actually like, you know, I was like, okay, cool. Like we can actually provide this service to other businesses, you know. So I started then with his vibe, then I did a couple of restaurants, then, you know, then you start building and then you realize, okay, now, obviously at that same time, I've already learned how to graphic design, how to find contracts online and all that kind of stuff. But I don't enjoy other things. I realize that what I do enjoy is the writing and, you know, the creating concepts and that part of things, you know. So now you must go and Photoshop and Illustrator. That wasn't my strong points, because I never even really did art at school. I just learned the skills so I can make my own flyers for the events and make my own websites and WordPress and whatnot.
I mean, you've gone into then what we're going to talk about in the second segment, right?
Yeah.
In terms of now you being this wordsmith, right? So in our second segment, we'll start going into now finding your passion and what you do with it. So now, I mean, you are devastated, like you're saying, and now you're going into, you actually said that you had found, they found you rather, and now you find your passion with copywriting.
Yes.
So I'm assuming, how did you even know it's an industry? And I always make the joke that when they say copywriting and they ask what type of writing, it's either cursive or print. so how do you even know it's a thing? Yeah, so you can get paid for this?
So I think because remember I mentioned like I obviously started doing marketing for other people's events, then restaurants, then whatever. I think there was one Chinese restaurant here at Santon City called Guifei, and they had the restaurant part, then they had like a corporate venue type of place, and then they would promote them differently, and obviously the guy would always be like insisting, Louis Liu would always like be insisting in terms of like messaging. Guifei is like colorful, bright dim sum festival, whatever. This one is like, it's corporate, it's for businesses. Standard Bank wants to do a year-end function.
So you're not going to say
so that's where you actually start realizing, okay, maybe there's different styles, there's different and really paying attention. And he actually paired me with a lady who did the graphic design. Now I don't have to do everything, so I'm like, okay, so I can actually get the same money, but for doing not everything. I can just do the right thing and then focus on that. That's when I actually started really like crafting the skill as well. Just to be like, okay, cool. What is my writing style? What is like my unique differentiator? That's when I also started learning about the fact that there's creative agencies where they look for people who are art directors, copywriters, creative directors, all that kind of stuff, And then, it was just like a whole new world for me, but also discovering that I'm actually really, really good at it. I was like, okay, it's not too shabby,
Speaking about, obviously, being very good at writing, what do you think makes a good copywriter?
I think understanding that you're not writing for yourself, right? Because for a lot of people, when they write, it's like you write things that you feel like you like, but you must remember that as a writer, there's always somebody who's got to read it. And that person who's got to read it, if it's you, then clearly you know what I'm saying? It's like having that lyric book at home. Like, you know that you're writing lyrics, but it's not necessarily for people's consumption. It's just for you or those poems that you write, But as a copywriter, you know that there's somebody on the other side of the words, and you need to make sure that message that you want to put across and the emotion that you want to put across, the feeling that you want to put across is exactly what they receive, And I think I learned in a way, like from the times when we're giving out flyers, because you know like how it is, like obviously on social, you can post stuff, you get 5 likes, it's cool. But when you do a flyer and hand it to somebody, and then after 10 steps, they take it and throw it away, then you're like, I got my response, whether they like it or not, So now you start paying attention to like, okay, if I maybe write like this on the poster and send it, do they keep it now? Or how do you, type of thing. So you like, that's how I learned those smaller and little, like, I guess the nuggets as well in terms of writing, to be like, okay, because there's somebody on the other side, you must write with that intention of like, what do you want them to see and feel?
And I suppose from a tertiary, we could call you a self-taught writer.
Yes.
Because I think writing, we really see it in English when you have creative writing.
Yes.
And that's where you're learning the 5 senses, how to, and so forth. So you're a self-taught, super amazing writer.
Yeah.
But now what is the, somebody out there who's like, okay, but I write functional, if I need to communicate, I write.
Yeah.
So what makes you different in a marketing sense to say, okay, I write to win pitches, I write for brands, I write a book.
Yeah. So obviously, yes, there is all the different types of writing. And even I myself also have to do sometimes functional writing. So it's like, maybe if you get like a brief, for example, there's certain things where you can flex the creativity and have a concept and almost like a story, from post, if it's maybe a digital campaign, from post to post, it's like it's selling some sort of a build up to an ending, whether it's a happy ending, sad ending, however, right? And then there's things where it's like now you're writing to get information across. So somebody must read a sign and understand, am I going left or am I going right? Type of thing.
There's no time to...
there's no hey, because now the more you make it the story long, is the more you're confusing people. Because now a person will get to a crossroad and feel like, maybe there's something I don't understand because maybe I'm missing the, because it's too poetic. It's am I going left or right? I understand. So sometimes it's like left this way, right this way, type of thing. So you just have to. I guess it's almost like learning a superpower, because then you have to kind of know when to do what, But I think also finding yourself in terms of like what's your type of writing, because for me, I love humor, I love exciting stuff. So it would be hard for me to write something for a funeral policy, type of thing, or a funeral cover, because
unless you want to make fun of it.
Yeah, unless you're gonna make fun or the baby mama's crying at the back, at funerals, at black funerals, there's always that lady. Or you hear on the obituary, they're like, no, he leaves 6 kids. And you're like, but I only have 5 cousins. Who's number 6? It's like, that one who's crying at the back. Or kid number 6. One plus one, So unless you're going to do that, and that's what the brief is, because obviously, like I mentioned, like there's emotions connected to it, So certain things can seem insensitive in certain spaces, So sometimes funny is not always funny everywhere, type of thing.
Yeah.
But now,
speaking of funny.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Welcome to South Africa.
Your massa book.
Favorite line.
Yeah.
No, not this one. Yeah, show you. The manifesto.
Oh, yes.
The manifesto.
Yes.
How did this, what inspired the manifesto?
Maybe before the manifesto, how did we get to even writing a book? I think offline we kind of made a joke about it, but you actually said no, it's not a joke.
All right.
It really was.
Yeah, so my story obviously has a lot of weird twists and turns. So that first time I had like that big failure was at the stadium, right?
Yeah.
Now things are going up. Now I'm writing, I'm doing this, I did the events, I've got clients, I'm doing whatever. And I've actually built like a solid business, from freelance copywriting. And then 2020 comes, and then, 21 days becomes months, lockdown or whatever.
Yeah.
Now that invoice is, is not, you're not getting a reply on that email address. You WhatsApping, hey, John,
how are you
how's
there?
that invoice? It's like, listen, we all still figuring it out. I'll get back, we'll touch base in 2 weeks, And then you're thinking like, hey, man, I've got rent to pay, whatever, because I'd actually met this colored lady, who's my wife now. So we actually moved to Soshanguve. So when the lockdown hit, we were staying in Soshanguve. Yeah. So I took this colored girl. Sira. So me and my colored wife, we went to. So our kid now, we actually debate a lot, because he says, no, listen, he's a lot lighter than me. So he says he's not brown, but he's also not a peach person. That's what he calls.
So what is he?
So he's figuring it out.
Okay, different shades.
It depends if you pour water on his hair, it might depend. If you put a soft and free black like me, it might depend. He might get away as a color, but he came with water, type of thing. So now we moved there. Obviously, because like she was working that side, and because I was freelancing, I could work from anywhere, right? So we moved there, and then
Soshanguve
became
dangerous.
Yeah, before Bujuguleni became Bujuguleni, And Sosha was actually really cool, because like we were staying Kodi XX. So she was working in Roslyn, right? So that's why we're staying Kodi XX, because now Orchard's rent was a bit higher than Babot.
Yes.
So I was like, okay,
So you jumped?
let me just jump
over.
at least next off ramp. It's cool. It's too social deep, but it's also at least 5-2 Orchards, So my son even went to crash Orchards. So life was good. We're staying there. And then the COVID lockdown hits. And then 21 days becomes a month, 2 months, 3 months, blue ticking invoices. And now you're sitting at a point where, so I'm a super saver, right? I was saving, whatever. The savings are running away now. Now there's no more Zaga, And now I've become that guy. So my wife was an essential worker during the lockdown. So now, so there was at least something to pay the rent or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And buy groceries. But now, me as the guy, I am the guy who's taking out bribe packs now when she's going to work. So like, hey, don't forget to take out the bribe pack. And then you forget to take it out. They're like, what were you doing the whole day? Why didn't you take out the bribe pack?
And then you're just like, no, not as part.
And I'm like, yo, is this my life? And now I'm like I'm sitting with so much talent, but I'm taking out bribe packs during the day, Sure. And I was like, okay, that was red flag number 1, right? Yeah. And then there was one day, I think it was like in June, July, it was cold, was load shedding.
Like
and it's lockdown, Now it's real. Like it's even like, it's like the energy is quiet, Kokas, And then I'm sitting with my son, he says, listen, he's hungry. So I look around, we don't have milk. The only thing I can make him is cornflakes for now, just until the electricity comes back, So I'm like, okay, let me make him cornflakes. Now it's load shedding, so I can't even warm up the milk. So we had cremoranya and it wasn't inside, it was on
Wow,
top,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So I get the cremora, I try and mix it up. Cremora doesn't dilute in cold water; it actually makes lumps.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah, it makes that, you know. So I give it to him because I can see obviously, like
Exactly.
Linda, I wouldn't eat it, but let me test. You know, I give it to him. My son talks a lot as well, so he's like, my guy, I'm not eating this, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me check for the coin in Yana. We're gonna go to my friend down the street, buy ghost loaves in Yana, you know. And when we were at the
Ghost or milk?
no, we buying ghost loaves. You only got coins for
Can't
ghost
do the
loaves
priorities,
to
yeah.
Bambis until the electricity. Now I don't have the money for the milk.
Tories.
Yeah, I just saw Tories like ghost loaf, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, not even that. Okay, I didn't, maybe if there was a female somebody, they would have thought Guinya. So now we think ghost loaf. My boy Tora beef ghost loaf, they slap. And just until the Mutagasi comes back, right?
Yeah.
But when we at this plaza, there's another young girl, she's like a teenage girl. She rocks up and she's buying a loose Pampers. You know, and I was like, "Whoa, crazy! My situation is kind of wild right now." But I'm thinking about her situation. I'm like, this loose Pampers, if she's buying it,
Wait, they sell loose Pampers?
they do. You can buy a single egg at them, my friends, as well. You can
Yeah,
buy,
I
you can
know-
go
I know
and
the
buy
egg,
one
but
egg. You know,
I didn't know about the Pampers.
yeah. So they sell loose Pampers as well. So now she's buying a loose Pampers, and I'm thinking like, I don't know how old the baby is, but if you have kids, like you know that
And
that
you're
kid,
not gonna watch this.
that kid is probably could like
And then
mess it up as
within
you
an
putting
hour.
it on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm
Even-
saying like, yo, now she's gonna come back. Probably that's why she's buying only one. Lena, she's in the same
Sure.
boat as me. We're buying just
Why?
things
Go
just
slow.
to bambisa whatever.
Essentials.
You know, essential goods. You know. And as we were walking back, I thought to myself, I'm like, but what is it that I can do to change my situation right now? Because I want to. First of all, I don't want to be working with the brands through agencies because you want to cut out the middleman, right? Because those situations now you're left there getting blue ticked or whatever, right? So, and that's when I thought, like, what I do best is writing. Let me write stories on LinkedIn, you know, but so they're about the brands, but they're about me. You get what I'm saying? Just to share different type of insights. Because if you see in a lot of presentations and pitches, they'll give an insight like, 10 out of 15 South Africans live to do X, Y, Z, right? But I thought like there's certain insights that are a little bit more based on human interaction, right?
yeah.
And it's like
It's not a sample set.
yeah. So I remember one
Yeah.
of the first stories I wrote was about Old Gold, and I wrote about like so I asked the question about like, so how did you and your family get that last piece of tomato sauce out the bottle?
Yeah.
Some people put water, some
Yeah.
people leave it upside down,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
everybody's got their own tricks and whatever, and people started commenting and sharing, you know. So I realized that okay, so we can actually.
like Ultramel.
You know what I'm saying?
You have to cut it
Yeah, you
open.
cut and then you still cut the box, you lick the box. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, we all do those things in our own homes, and it seems insignificant, but everybody, like you're saying, who's eaten an ultramel has probably done that before. So that's an insight to work off, you know, that actually that people connect from with as well, you know. So from there, I realized, okay, these stories are helping me get the type of people, and that's why I chose LinkedIn specifically because go IG. Like I was like, okay, I'm not gonna sit and look
All you
pretty
gotta do
bad.
is to get likes.
Yeah, you know,
That's it.
and also people don't read on IG. They want to look at the picture. And my strategy was like, I'm just gonna put the name
You
of
wanna
a
see
brand.
the beaver.
Yeah, you know, you see, that's how on IG I had to post the beaver. Yeah, you know? But like on LinkedIn, like it's just I chose the color yellow first of all because LinkedIn is a business platform and everything's gray, black. Those are the business colors, you know.
So
Blue,
to stand
you know,
out.
to stand out. So I was like, first of all, choose a bright color. And then also, I'm just going to put a name of a brand in bold and then my logo and then write a little story. And that became the format, you know. And then you write a few stories.
I've read a couple of your stories. I was like, hey, this guy is onto something.
onto something, you know? Because those stories, at first, it'll be like, oh, you get maybe I write about Nando's. They send me maybe like a 2000 Rand Nando's voucher, what, you know? Then I write about
That's what they
Big.
do.
Yeah, then I write about
So you're
Big.
becoming
Then-
now a LinkedIn influencer.
yeah, then they're sending me pens. So I was like, if I write about FNB, maybe they're going to send me an e-wallet. E-wallet. But they didn't say the e-wallet, you know. But at least I started getting visibility to those people, right? Because it's like now some of them would hit me up to be like, hey man, actually we want our brand to be a little bit more relatable like that. How do we connect with people? Then you consult on that basis to say, okay, I come through, help with some messaging, type of thing. And then your copywriters can then take that construct and push it forward.
So, what was your biggest break?
The biggest break, I think, was
Look,
when
now it deviated from the
yeah,
book.
yeah.
but
So
anyway,
so it's
gonna
actually
come
coming
back.
to the book vibe,
Yeah.
right? So the biggest break was when I got a call from Doug Place, who's the chief marketing
Nando's.
officer of Nando's, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Man, you sold my vibe to me. Like, this is so cool, you know?
Oh,
so
God.
obviously,
Yeah,
you know,
that's nice.
yeah,
Shout out
and-
to Dog.
yeah, you know,
You
so,
must come
so, so for me,
here.
for me, that was like, oh man, like,
Yeah.
like this guy got
Get
he got his PA to find my numbers,
Oh, man.
scour the internet and find my numbers
What?
and call me personally, you
should
know?
have called me.
I gotta do that. I was still on the come up. You see, now I'm here.
That's right. That's right.
Wow,
So,
lovely,
so
yeah.
that's when it made me realize, like, okay, I'm actually onto something
So
here.
Dad calls you and says what?
Just to say, like, man, this is really cool. Hey, the Nando's. And I remember even my son, because we're
Ah,
still
so
at
he
the
had
house in
unlimited
Sosha.
supply.
You know, he's hearing Nando's this, Nando's that, and Pella, he's been used to the go slow now, you know.
Yeah.
So now he comes running, yo, are we going to Nando's? And you know, as a parent, you just, hey man, I'm on a serious call.
Yeah.
This could be life changing, you know.
Yeah.
So Vayanya, and he's like, but you on a call with the chief
Nando's,
marketing
so-
officer, so let me
We
hit you with
just- yeah.
this voucher, you know.
Yeah.
Then he hit me up with like 2,000 rand Nando's vouchers. And then that day I was in Murek. I even went to my aunt who stays in
man.
by Wonder Park
Yeah.
there. I get there.
Yeah.
She got a couple kids. There's
Sayang,
even,
guys.
you ordering on, you know, Pella, there's certain parts of the Nando's menu where
You don't look at-
there you don't look. No, what are churros? Give me the churros. You gotta see there whether it's a snack or a meal. We gotta we order. Can I get a churro?
what a churro.
3 quarter chickens, 4 full chickens, and 2
The wedges.
you know, wedges. Yeah. And they got everything like that I could, you know. And I remember even the second time that I wrote about Popeyes. And then they were like, yo, come through, and you can just literally order
Popeyes
anything.
went-
But
Nando's
now
on
they
you.
They were.
they international, so
Yeah.
so they saw you in that.
Yeah, they saw
Okay.
that vibe because the thing is, there was a guy who commented and tagged them. You know, you can add a brand
yeah,
or whatever,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So when he commented, because that story wasn't even about Popeyes. It was just like,
Yeah.
it was more about like, in South Africa, when we think Popeyes, we're not thinking chicken. We're thinking
The
Popeyes.
Popeye.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Popeyes as in
Yeah.
like cartoons. And
Popeye the Sailor Man.
You know what I mean? So that was the angle type of thing. But then it just, because I was just sharing, you know, I'm not trying to promote anybody. I'm not saying, hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Look, the link down,
Subscribe.
the link does
Subscribe.
at the bottom.
Yeah.
Get Popeyes.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not that. So it was quite organic in that sense, you know.
Yeah.
But I think when it really hit me that like I'm really, really onto something was when a lot of people started commenting to say, look, if you put those stories into a book, we'll buy that. And I was like, I'm putting in a book now because now at least the clients are picking up and all of that. So I was like, you know what? Let me save and save and save and save. And while I was saving, I'm writing more stories. They're getting more popular, saving some more, getting more gigs, writing some more. And it was just like going crazy, like, you know, because now we're moving from the XX to another section of the Kasi now, bumping up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, they're singing now we're moving from Sosha to
Chose.
Randburg, you know? Yeah. And now I'm getting those dogs, not those boobies and not what, like these dogs are vaccinated. these dogs have birth certificates, you know? You know, they eat, you know, like premium dog food, like large breed that, you know, that kind of
They get
Not
massages.
the road.
they don't eat at family functions, this one. They don't have David Oda's baby mamas. Nah, not
No, give a Bobby.
Boobo.
Give a Bobby.
You know?
They go for manicures.
Yo, grooming, you know, the grooming comes to the house. You know what I'm saying? So obviously things started just picking up and, you know, like I actually compiled a book, self-published it, you know, and I was just like, you know what? And even when I was thinking of the title, I was like, I need to give that same energy from LinkedIn, you know, because now when you hear the title, you need to be like, yo, master book, yo, what do you mean? You know?
Almost. But here's my favorite line.
Yeah.
Here's my favorite line.
On the manifesto vibe,
In the manifesto.
Okay, cool. You want me to read that for you? You're gonna read it.
If you can.
All right,
Yeah,
cool.
just
So this is how it goes, right? So this is the foreword. It says, "Welcome to South Africa, where a cashier at Pick and Pay can ask you if you need a checkers. That's freedom of speech. Where Kanye, Bao, and others confidently practice their freedom of bleach. Where you can go from doing the Twalatsa Manyesa to the Soki Soki, or you can enjoy Magwinya with the Thulares and Cook sisters with the Kukamurs, Boki. Welcome to South Africa, where some kids are born white and raised black because the moment their parents leave for work, they enjoy the comfort of their maid's back. Where kissing your dog on the mouth is quite suburban, and we all assume everybody from KZN comes from Durban. Welcome to South Africa, where I'm sure means maybe, and adults call each other baby. where there are subtle differences between moms and aboma oledi. I still wonder why you don't need a passport to go to Guyana and how family functions in Lenasia are incomplete without biryani. Welcome to South Africa, a place where you'll see things that you've never seen, like a colored couple, Gerald and Nadine, naming their daughter Geraldine. where you can go to Virgin Active and work out with active virgins or debate Oscar Pistorius' facts and versions. I put it to you, in Eldos, it's strongly advised that you mustn't push. Otherwise, the Popa Sal dance, your massa book. That's the vibe, you know.
That's the vibe.
Oh man.
There I was flexing their pen there.
Yeah,
you know,
you were. And how long
That
did
line about
take you?
biryani, biryani and biryani.
Yeah. And what makes you, like, how do you get there to that point where you are this wordsmith?
I think it's just writing more and more, you know, because I write every single day. You know, some of the stuff doesn't make it online because sometimes I have that feeling where, like, I'm like, yo, this one, this one is gonna clap. This one, and some of them, then it doesn't clap. And then
But
sometimes,
don't let you think it won't clap.
because I think I actually even found myself kind of caught in a vibe because in the beginning when I was writing the stories, I wasn't writing them for them to be funny, right? So I wasn't in a box in a way, right? And people just found them funny. And then at some point I was intentional about making it funny. And then now it's like, sometimes it's like maybe there's something missing with that connection again, you know, where it's not always just ha ha ha. Sometimes it's like oh man, you reminded me of grandma's house, you know, type of thing. So it's just finding that balance and but like writing every single day. My grandma is always like, top 90% achiever of writers on the platform. I'm like,
Do you read?
Yeah.
I do read, you know. So what I do is like I do read like marketing textbooks for, you know, like those kind of things, or your Seth Godin type of books, you know, that kind of vibe. So I do read quite a bit. But recently, because I've been writing more, I haven't been reading a lot. You know, I used to read a lot more than I do now. You know, but I still try and obviously, you know, keep up with the...
Okay, now you're rich.
I'm not rich.
We're going to go into our last segment, and I think we'll talk about then, you know, this part, wrap up a bit about that, talk about the book, where can you get it, and then we'll go into our last part of, I think maybe even before going into the quiz, you know, the advice you'd have for a copywriter out there. Where do they start? What keeps them current? And finding your style, I think, in terms of that. So,
You are self-published.
Yeah.
How did you come to that decision? Because, I mean, first of all, it's your first book.
Yeah.
You don't know the book game.
Yeah.
And you sold out your first...
My first print run.
Yeah.
So...
and also a print run, do you know, is it a choice? If I say 100?
Yeah, I think it's a choice thing and also like a demand thing, depending. Because also I'm like kind of learning also how the formal stuff works, you know. But what I did, of course, it was like, as the typical guy, same way I Googled the contract back in the day. Yeah. Just Googled how to publish a book. Then I obviously initially I thought of doing it as a digital thing, right? But then I was like, but I want to still give it like a South African flavor and make it an experience. So I was like,
I must say, on the experience part, I give it to you. When I got the delivery,
it just feels like, man, you know. So
well
that's
packaged.
You know, that's what I was going for.
You know, I must drink tea and
you know,
and be reading the book.
You know, so I just wanted to make it an experience, right? So obviously, I was just like, how do I stand out? Because I'm competing. If I'm self-publishing, I'm competing against every big publisher. I'm competing against the biggest authors. You know what I'm saying? I'm competing against the best. So now, how do I make mine like so that it doesn't feel like, oh, okay, Raivona, you self-published Wazama. You know, it must feel like, oh man, this is even better than you know the stuff that you see. Because I remember even when I went to go drop off a few copies at Exclusive Books by Rosebank, they were like. Because they're like, you know, they're like, okay, bring 25 copies now. And then I'm coming in boxes. They're like, no, there's still one more box. They're like, what kind of book is this? You know, but then when you open it and you're like, man, there's a box, you know, just the size of the book, you know, because a typical book is like this size. And you know, so I was just like, let me make it something really different that stands out, that you also feel like, in my mind, it was like, if it can sit on the Mamzo's room divider, then you've made it. You know, it sits next to the baby picture, graduation picture, and my book. You know, like you know. So I was like, if I can give it that feeling, then I've accomplished, you know, my vibe.
Amazing. I think you've done well, man. I mean, this one, you know, I think it's that coffee table kind of book. You know, that will sit next to them Pradas.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
yeah. Because even when I went to, like, I remember when I got the gift bag. So I just wanted to do the box, but then I thought about, like, now when somebody buys it, now you don't want people walking around like this.
Yeah.
You know, you must just feel like, you know, diamond walk life. You know, then it's like, you know, and people usually get it confused when you're walking around with the book. They'll be like, hey, is it a pair of sneakers in there? What's going on? You know, it's like, no, this is a book. What do you mean is it? And it also makes for conversation. You know, when you just bump into somebody and they're like, what's in there? Oh, it's a book. Oh, let me see. Let me take your contacts. I'll order a copy, you know, type of thing. Yeah.
Do they order?
They do. But I think what's helped push most of the sales is the corporate orders, right? For gifting, because it makes, like you said, because it's like that coffee table vibe, it makes a desk drop. It makes a nice gift for somebody who's like, he's a CEO, he has everything in the world. He's got Gucci, he's got Louis Vuitton,
So what
he's
are
got
you
a Porsche.
gonna
What are you going to
give?
give them?
Yeah.
Something that is priceless in a way. You know, where it's like, oh man, my cousin's moving to UK.
Yeah, let me
a
get
touch
South
of South Africa, the book, you
study
know.
in.
you know?
Wow.
So it's just like, it just caters for all those kind of scenarios. So that's what it's actually helped pump the sales, because then, you know, your corporates will then order like 10, 15, 20. I think my biggest order was like 200 copies for a conference, you know. So
You're
it's
rich
like,
then, huh?
no, I'm okay, you know. I'm working hard. We're
covered
cooking.
your capital.
Yeah, you know, we're trying to recoup, you know.
Yeah. And
Self-published, self-funded.
Self-funded, yes.
And-
So I
and-
saved from writing the story. So the same stories that are in the book helped to make the book, you know,
there we
which
go.
is kind
That's
of
what I wanted to know,
amazing.
is that now you are self-published. I'm trying to understand the monies.
The monies,
you know, for
yeah,
something
yeah.
out there.
Because I mean,
who's like,
when I looked at it, I was like, boy,
yeah.
this boy has money.
Yeah. Nalidi chankura.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It looked, I mean, it's premium. Actually, I took off the other
Yeah,
cover.
the book, the book jacket, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We call it a jacket.
Jacket.
Yeah,
I was
it's
going to
called-
say
yeah.
sleeve.
I didn't know. I was also, when I was looking for supply, I'm looking for that sleeve you
Yeah,
put.
yeah.
They're like, oh, you mean a book jacket? I was
That's
like,
right.
So that it
Wait,
comes
book
off.
jacket, yeah. So I actually learned that those book jackets, they make books a lot more valuable over time, right? Because like books, that if you see every book that has a book jacket, the price actually goes up over time, because it's almost like they always, like your publishers put book jackets on books that like have that, you know, that value.
Harry
That,
Potter,
you know what I'm saying?
I remember.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
those
Lord
ones,
of the
the ones that
Rings.
are like timeless. They know, like,
Yeah.
even in 2050 something, that book will still be selling. So they do the book jackets for those. So I was like, all the bells and whistles of like how to make a premium book. That's what I'm doing, you know.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
do you think in 10 to 50 years, this book will still be selling?
I think so, you know. I think
Yeah.
the more time as well, because you must remember these stories, right? Right now, we can still remember a lot
There's
of the things that are
resonance.
in there,
Yeah.
right? But like my kid, for example, he's not gonna experience
It'll be historic.
going into the house when the street lights come on,
Yeah.
because he's not playing in the street. He's playing in the jarata, you know, type of thing. So he'll be able to read about those kind of things, and their generations. This will be like, man,
That's
it's
what
like
I'm
how
saying, it's a story for them.
how the mums was
Yeah,
grow. It's not only
yeah.
it doesn't have to be Safasa Pilisizo Semnyama every time when you're thinking about back in the days. You can also think about nice things as well, you know what I mean?
course.
And the humorous parts of, you know, our history as well, you know, yeah. So I think it is in a way, even though it's like my story in a way, but it is quite it captures a lot of South African nuances and, like, you know, really key insights that people can like kind of like relate with and really even start a conversation over, you know, yeah.
Sure.
And I understand that there's an event coming up.
Yes,
That's just centered around the very
Yeah.
book. I was just going to sit there and read the book for us.
No, absolutely no. So how the show actually came about is that now, obviously I launched the book in 2022, right? So there's people who bought the book in 2022. So they're like, my guy, what's happening? What's next? You know?
Quiet.
Yeah, you quiet.
Give us
Where's the next
something.
book? Give us something. But also, the book got me into having doing keynote talks
Yes,
and,
sir.
and telling my story and all
Yeah.
of that. And then I realized when I'm telling my story, I'm
Keynote
like,
speak.
I'm like, you know what? People actually enjoy this stuff. You know, like this is actually fun. I enjoy telling the stories. Even I think I enjoy telling the stories in real life even more than I do in writing them. You know, because when I'm telling them, at least I can even add like spice and add, you know, that aromat, you know.
Yeah.
So obviously from there I realized that okay, there's an opportunity here as well. Let me add, you know, a live show element where it is storytelling. That's why it's called a live what, you know. So just in case the stories are not funny, it's like, it was a what. We also didn't know what a what is, you know. But I think it's going to be quite exciting. It's going to be on the 7th of July at the theater on the square in Sandton. Yeah,
Just one night.
just one. I gotta know we must test. Eh?
Yeah, where do we get tickets?
everything, the book and the tickets, welcome to southafrica.co.za, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the kind of like the brand that I'm obviously just trying to grow as well, just owning that South African narrative in a way, you know, so I can...
Yeah, I mean, how we met, you were down in Durban.
Right.
South African tourism
Right. Yeah, they were hosting me, you know, just, you know, all over. You know, I actually got to see parts of KZN that I'd never seen before. You know, you go there, you do the usual
North
thing.
Beach.
You go to the North Beach, you get a 2 liter
North Beach or South Beach?
It's South Beach, eh?
Yeah, that's the most popular.
Oh, South Beach.
Yeah,
North
so we're
Beach
at
is
South
by
Beach.
Salt Rocks and stuff.
Yeah, we're at
Okay.
South Beach. You usually go there with family. Everybody, even on I Blew It, they go to Deveyton. You know, you go there, you get a 2
go to
liter
South
of
Beach, yeah.
you get a 2 liter of salt water with a little bit of sand, just to show it's not
Yeah.
just regular water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's been my trips to there. But now I got
But
to
you know
see
the belief around that.
Yeah. What is it?
We used to be told that if you don't take the sand with,
Yes.
the water will just
Evaporate. Huh?
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's what we were told. Like
Yeah.
that's why the water from the sand, from the beach, has to come,
With the sand. Oh, I didn't even know. Now I just thought to reveal
Swash.
it just to gather the
Hey,
nyama, you know, if you talk
Yeah.
you just pour in the pot. And
And
you're
I'll
like,
tell her,
yeah, and you're just thinking
Utala.
like, if everybody's going to the beach to gather is nyama, that means that beach is full of nyama. You're taking it home. That's why you have matatas as people, you know.
So now you take the other people's yamas. But then again, they say the ocean cleans itself.
It cleans itself, eh? Yeah, that's true. You know, just gotta hope for the best.
But
You
I
know?
don't know. At
So
that
if
time, you don't know.
Yeah, if you go to the beach and you come back with more matatas, you must know you picked up the yam out there. You know, just go back.
It washed itself back.
Yeah, we are the ones washing it. Again, we're taking the yam thing with us to Josie.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's amazing,
Yeah.
man. And what would be your advice to young copywriters? I think Pat can share in the same sentiments. It's quite difficult to find
Good writers.
really good copywriters. And,
Yeah.
and we can only do so much in terms of sharing the vision and so forth, but you need that person who just can say it in words. You know, the graphic designer is there to put it in
In
pictures.
visuals,
Yeah,
yeah.
in picture. But then that coming of two sometimes is
There's
there's
a
a
clash.
friction, man, you
Yeah.
know? And then the older ones are too expensive, so we can't afford it.
Yeah, I think it's just like, obviously as a copywriter, I think now with things like social media, it's a really good platform to test your writing, right? Because you have an audience that you can write to. You start a page, you do whatever, and you write, you know, and find your unique voice and find like almost like a tribe of people that you're writing for, you know? Because those, they, like it might start with 10, 50, 100 people, but you know that there's maybe 10 times more than that those type of people out there, you know, but you at least got a chance to test your ideas and all that. And what's nice with social media is that, like for me, I wrote about these brands and I had zero relationship with them, you know, so you have that freedom because it is social commentary in a way, you know, you're not bashing anybody or whatever, but then even they see the value in the stories that you're sharing, because then it's like, oh man, and like here it is. But also I think just outside of the fluff and just writing for vibes, you just need to figure out how to even monetize it in a way, you know, because a lot of times on social media, people, like you have 100,000 followers, TikTok, you doing jives, but you can't jive every day, you know? And also those jives, they're not your jives, it's a challenge. So you're known for challenges.
You just hopping on every challenge.
And then you might get called for 1 or 2 gigs, but it's not a sustainable, you can't build a life and a career.
There's no
out of it.
brand.
You know what I mean? And you know, because your brand is jiving to other people's songs with other people's dances.
You're not pioneering anything.
Yeah, you're not creating anything.
Yeah.
So finding a way to even, like, you see, for me, my challenge now has been, how do I take my story writing onto other platforms, right? Like a TikTok. Because I mean, on LinkedIn, people are willing to read. They read articles and white papers and whatever. So their reading is a thing. But now on TikTok, people don't want to read. They want to see. So I've found a way to, and that's why I've actually started my light skin movement, you know, because I was like, man, you know what? You need a purpose, you know? And my purpose is to fight for the rights of light-skinned brothers, you know, because I feel like we've been left behind. We've been left behind.
By us.
Yes, because all ladies, you watch Date My Family, you watch any reality show,
They never
we want tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah.
I'm not tall, I'm not dark. At least I'm 33.3% past mark, handsome, nyara. So I was like, you know what, let me fight for the rights. Because there was a time we were in fashion before, right?
Yeah,
As light-skinned guys. You know, because back in the days, if you remember when we used to go to grandma's house for school holidays, it was your dark-skinned cousins who slept on the floor.
Yes.
The light-skinned cousins would sleep on the bed, on the
more
couch. You know what I'm saying? So we were once great. So we're going to make light-skin great again.
You're fallen. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Katlego. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, you're a writer.
Yes.
We know the advent of ChatGPT.
Yes.
AI. Is it an opportunity or a threat?
I mean, it depends, right? So there's certain things that you can use, I think, like your ChatGPTs for. I don't use it, right? But I do use AI in writing because I use Grammarly for my vibe, right? Grammarly, I think the AI there just tells you tone-wise, does this sound positive? Does it sound engaging? Maybe you could have used less words for this, you know? So it's still my voice, and it's just like from a technical perspective where it can help in terms of like, okay, from how people read on the internet, you can make this shorter. It doesn't have to be however, that's what. You can just get to the point, you know? But with ChatGPT, sometimes I feel like there's that disconnect. There's certain things that you won't... Like you can see when somebody has an article that's ChatGPT because it doesn't have like a human touch now. It has great information.
But no intuition.
Yeah, but it doesn't
texture to
you know,
it.
and I think that's where we'd have to find a balance, you know, because we can't use it as a cheat code to say, now you don't need copywriters because ChatGPT, because you'll always...
Because then you're going to end up with more of the same.
More of the same,
because
right?
my article, your article will read
comes from the same source and what,
and
you know?
Same line of thinking.
Yeah. And I've been having fun like playing with and tricking the AI because like now you see on LinkedIn, it gives you some AI questions at the bottom. You know, and sometimes it'll ask like, okay, what is the Light Skin Brothers Association? Oh no, and then it checks on the internet, but then
it can't find it?
No, but when it can't find anything, I actually realized when it can't find something, they kind of take what you've written and repurpose it just to say, no, the Light Skin Association is just a humorous what. And you're like, okay, so it's going to give you answers. So that's the thing about AI. It's going to give you an answer, but sometimes it doesn't make sense.
Say, no, I don't know.
Yeah, because I was writing about asymptote and it's like, okay, what is the asymptote? And it couldn't find anything. At least Selima Tunzit found something, you know, because there's not much on the internet about asymptote. There's maybe one article about Caroline Farsi snatching Mang Mang's weave at the Gaika. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing about like the AI stuff. I think that we need to just be responsible with it, you know, in terms of how we use it. Yeah.
That's you.
Sure. No, this has been a really funny.
Probably the funniest episode.
Your master book.
That's what's up.
It's been quite a lovely, and I think it's quite nice to have somebody in a specialized discipline within marketing.
Yes.
I think we've had all-rounders or marketing managers, but this was really to talk about writing because I think it's kind of put at the back until you realize that, oh shucks, I'm trying to put my point across, but it's not hitting.
It's not landing.
I think it's the most underrated skill.
Absolutely.
It is, you know, because
so I think that's the movement you need to have.
Yeah.
So I must ditch the light skin movement, eh?
I'm not saying.
I was about to print t-shirts also. White Lives Matter.
Let me not stop you.
But I mean, you're already off the market. You got a beautiful wife. You got a handsome son.
I'm fighting for a cause, you know. Just like it's like imagine if Nelson Mandela was like, maybe me I'm free. I don't have to fight for, you know. Yeah, that's because me I'm sharp. So it doesn't mean I can't fight for the broader community, you know.
Because they brought out their points.
Like people are resonating with this message. Because if you check on my pages, you'll see I did a State of the Light Skin address, you know, which it's our manifesto as a movement, just to say, listen, we are here, we're coming back, we're gonna come back to greatness, you know.
But before we go into our quiz, we just want to thank you so much for honoring us with your presence, showing us that black excellence is also premium.
Yes,
because I think sometimes, like you're saying, it's more like. You know, we are coming, but
stories,
not coming.
Price.
You know. So I'm honored to see that there's association of black and quality, black and you can charge that premium without saying, hey, madam, dark, you're like,
you know what's crazy is that like I was actually nervous when I was charging the book at a premium because I thought people would be like, yo, why? You know, but when people actually, a lot of people who receive the package, they're like, you know what, I wish I could have even paid a little bit more, you know, because this is like another level, you know. But I'm like, okay,
took
that's
into
good.
the LinkedIn market.
But knowing your target audience also was very key,
yes,
which you alluded to. But thank you so much.
No, thank you for
we learned so much from you. And I hope you guys have also learned quite a lot from Katlego.
No,
we're not
thank
doing
you.
the quiz.
Yeah, we're doing the quiz now.
Oh, is it hard questions? Huh?
Yeah.
Tough questions,
Absolutely.
okay.
No, because the way you wrapped it up is like it's
No.
over, it's done.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
And next time on Dragon Ball
No,
Z.
not at all. Not at all. I was just concluding that part. But
All
go
right.
ahead, Pat. Are you ready to rumble?
You go first. I'm still looking for it.
Okay, cool. So, first question. Oh, how dare I? Sorry.
If I see
First
the question,
question.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola recently launched a new Coca-Cola, unleashing the taste of Africa's spirit and creativity. Did you come up with this copy?
I didn't.
Just in case.
Yeah.
What is it called? Is it Coca-Cola Rhythm, Coca-Cola Woza, or Coca-Cola Creates?
Yo, it's like some things happened, divine intervention. I just saw a billboard today and it said, Woza. I saw it because I've always
Or were
looking.
you invited at the launch?
No, I
and
wasn't.
sent,
I wonder why. But
but now they'll know.
yeah, now you know. I even know Woza.
Okay.
Come on.
Cool.
Yeah. You know MT?
MT, yeah? The
MT,
rapper.
the rapper.
Okay, yeah.
He was on podcast and shit.
Yes.
That's the other.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, please.
Yeah, he was like.
He recently partnered
No.
with a local sneaker
Cannot.
brand.
Oh, wild.
Which brand is it?
Drip? I don't know. It's a drip.
Why did you say drip? Think of drip?
No, I guessed because I didn't watch the whole episode. I think I needed to watch it on double speed. So like I was like, it was taking a little longer.
Yeah.
But
But
I
as you can see, as you can see how slow that would have been.
Is it drip?
Yeah.
Come on now. How much am I winning here?
2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. 2 out
We'll
of
tell you
5.
at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Gem Blaster and
Absolutely.
TV bar. That's what they used to give
Exactly.
out Jimmy earlier.
Yeah.
Number 3. Last week, a retail giant experienced an app glitch, resulting in users getting discounts ranging from 80 to nearly 90%.
Oh.
Which one was this? Was it ShopRite? Excuse me, was it Game or was it Macro?
It's game. They were playing games. Eh?
But no, they weren't.
Get a slap, boy.
It wasn't game.
No.
What was it? Macro.
Yeah.
Yo, where was I? And I love shopping at Macro.
Bona.
I could have
When I
gotten
saw this, I was
those
like,
100
what?
rand specials.
Bona.
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 4.
Okay, cool. Which clothing brand got into hot water for an ad with this line? Coolest monkey in the
H&M, yeah?
Hey, you know your brands, huh?
No, Pele is a brand guy. You must always be
Yeah.
checking
Oh,
out, you
you're
know?
a brand guy.
So like, and for the tips for copywriters, huh? Proofread, double check with your people, you know?
There we go. That question was for you.
Right?
Yeah, that question was for you. And lastly, who is the parent company? Company of Beacon Chocolate. Is it Mondelez, Nestle, or Tiger Brands?
It's Mondelez, huh?
And Oshohor.
Give Mondelez, ne?
Okay.
They were supposed to send me a beacon hamper. Even I saw feature.
Oh, that's why I also agree because
Yeah.
it's not Mondelez.
Mondelez carry chippies, ne?
Yeah, that's why I also agree. That is
Who
exactly
is
why.
it? Is it Nestle?
It's Tiger Brands.
Tiger Brand.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Wild business.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you must cut that on. My LinkedIn people are like, like, my boy, we thought you the guy, man. Like, at the end, you drop it. Yo. Okay. Yeah. But it's fine. You know, they
Have you-
understand. They
You
understand.
never had the marshmallows.
Yeah, the jubes, the marshmallows. Yeah, I've had the marshmallows. Say that I'm not really a sweet guy.
What are you?
I like chappies and coronas, you know. Yeah.
Oh, Coronas.
It's because it's yellow.
Yeah, it's also just to give. They gave me a free towel, but I was embarrassed the one time because I took my son to swimming. Now he's the only kid with a corona towel. I could see the parents just looking at me like, sorry, yo, and then we know what your father does. Yeah, but that was the last time taking a corona towel to swimming. Yeah.
Wow, man,
Yeah.
that's quite lovely.
What has been, before we let you go,
Yeah.
what has been the coolest drop you ever received, like from a brand?
The coolest drop, huh? I would say Chappies, right? So Chappies for my book launch. Oh, and line matches. So Chappies and line matches. So
So
Chappies.
line matches can do something cool?
Yeah, they send me like a braai, what.
They light you up.
So they send me like a whole braaiing setup from charcoals to firelighters to menches and what. And then Chappies gave me like Chappies bags and hampers and stuff as giveaways for that. So that was really cool because it added that touch. Oh, and Castlelight, they give me goods. Because the book launch, again, I wanted it to have that Cassie feel, you know, even though it was in Sansa. So we had goods sipping in champagne glasses. the Skopasi, the Chepisi, the Hempa, the Big Peniana. So it was a really South African flavor. So people left there with goodie bags, you know. No shota sunlight. The sunlight, I'm waiting for my Hempa. But it's fine.
Yeah.
No, I got to know what just the green bar, just there for the relationship with the brands. You know?
For medicinal purposes.
For medicinal purposes. Don't try to set it.
Oh, man. Thank you so much. You really brought in the energy. You really brought in the fun to this episode. We appreciate you making the time.
Oh, man. Thank you so much for having me. This has been really awesome.
Yeah. You know, someone said to me, I sent them an invite, a marketing exec. And I sent the invite and I said, please join us at the Pat and Mpumi podcast. And he was like, oh my God, I've been waiting for this moment.
All my life.
This is a dream come true. Was this your dream come true?
This was my perfect podcast.
This is your perfect podcast. That's what I wanted to add.
Oh, man, that's what's up. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much. But anyway, to our listeners and watchers, please make sure to enjoy this episode. Subscribe, like, share, do what you have to do. Similar, because that's what we do. When I agree with you, you don't subscribe. And all of that. But yeah, Pat.
Yeah, man, get those passports to go to Guyana. But I do think that, this is the first episode, but certainly not the last with you.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a lot of stuff that, the nuances that we need to unpack.
The finances.
In the book, you know? By the time this episode drops, which I think will be on
It'll be after the Yorubas.
Or it'll be before.
Oh, the week
before the Yorubas.
It'll be before the Yorubas.
Nominate, vote, you know.
Buy tickets.
Buy tickets.
Buy tickets.
Yeah. That's the important part.
Buy tickets for the Yorubas. And it's unfortunate that you've already, next year you won't qualify. You would have made a nice entry
for education and literature.
Literature.
100%.
Yeah, I got now soccer age. We can just, I will be 35. I won't be over 30. I'll be 35.
This is not that kind of party. This is not that kind of party.
But it does say, though, that by the time the awards happen, you need to be 35. So
you still qualify.
You see, I'm going to read the T's and C's. I'm going to come back to
T's say that.
Proofread like, no. Point 8, line 3 says that you must be 35 or younger. I'm 35. Just not younger.
Got you. But thank you, everybody, for the support. We see it online almost with every episode. Some say they're finding super value from this podcast. We appreciate you. But do not just leave a comment. Share so that we can reach more people. All right? From me, Pat Matangungiti.
And for myself, Nompumelelo Vundla, goodbye.
Cheers.
Pat. It's Pat on brands. Watch how you branded, man. A pat on the back is a pat from the man. Better be branded, man. A pat from the pat is a pat on the